Hello friends, let's talk about another world-famous figure. Okay, let's see.
Amadeus Mozart. World classical composer Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart in the final years of his life had several tours around Europe. However, his health condition began to deteriorate, apart from being too tired from working hard, also due to several diseases. After performing the opera La Clemenza in Tito, Prague, on September 6, 1791, Mozart fell unconscious and his illness began to worsen. He suffered from kidney swelling, pain, and vomiting, and was forced to be cared for by his wife, Constanze. In the midst of this illness that attacked him, Mozart was still dictating some of his requiems in bed to his student, Susmer, because he had received an order for the work from a nobleman named Franz von Walsegg. However, it seems that this work will never be finished, because today, 228 years ago, on December 5, 1791, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart suddenly died at a young age, namely 35 years old. The composer of the world's classics left at least 600 works in his short life. Gate, Wolfie Mozart. Mozart was born with the real name Johannes Chrysostomus Wolfgangus Gottlieb Mozart on January 27, 1756, in Salzburg, Vienna, Austria, to Johann Georg Leopold Mozart, a famous music teacher and composer, with Anna Maria, a high-ranking district official in Austria. From the age of 3, Mozart had been imbued by his father with music, with his older sister Nannerl to play the piano. By the time he was 4 years old, Mozart was already able to play the harpsichord and improvise on the music of his predecessors. In 1761, when he was 5 years old, Mozart was able to write his first compositions, namely Minuet in G, and Violin Sonata. Mozart was very lucky to have a father who was an experienced musician. Leopold really recognized his son's potential. He also dedicates his life to supporting the talent of the child. However, Leopold seems too ambitious in forging his favorite child. He was dissatisfied with Mozart's ability to compose music. Leopold wanted all of Europe to know about his son's talent, which later, because of his treatment, had quite an impact on Mozart's personality. In 1762, Leopold took a sabbatical from office to promote his son's talents to the kings of Vienna, bringing his 2 sons to perform from court to court. Mozart and his sister played in front of the King of Bavaria, in Munich, and Queen Maria Theresa in France. After a grueling tour for Little Wolfie, Mozart's childhood nickname, his name became widely known in Europe when he succeeded in composing the operas Mitridate, Re di Ponto, 1770, and Lucia Silla, 1772, and the success of their tour in Milan, Italy, as well as being used to learn from the famous composer at that time, Padre Martini. Mozart returned from Italy in 1773, and was hired as royal musician in Salzburg by Prince Archbishop Hieronymus Colloredo. He resigned 4 years later after emboldening to find work by going to Augsburg, Mannheim, Paris, and Munich and creating works during his travels there. After his career took off, Mozart married Constanze on August 4, 1782, in the Cathedral of St. Stephen, and they have 6 children. He also became more diligent in making works after listening to some of his famous predecessors and inspiring composers, such as Johann Sebastian Bach and Georg Friedrich Handel, the composer's end. Year after year, Mozart went on a successful tour of Europe, where the peak of his career was between 1784 and 1786. In that period, Mozart changed many musical compositions and created very important works. Unfortunately, A rather extravagant lifestyle and Mozart's love of expensive goods made him slowly go to the brink of bankruptcy. He began to get into debt, and his habit of drinking every night at the bar made it difficult for him to create works. Financial and economic conditions became a source of anxiety for Mozart to continue making works of orders from nobles in Europe. He also seemed to be being chased by deposits to immediately pay off his debts and did not pay attention to his deteriorating health condition. On December 5, 1791, after undergoing treatment for several months at his home, Mozart died at 1 a.m. at the age of 35. The cause of death, from several hypotheses, the most widely accepted was due to acute rheumatic fever. The composer's body was later buried in St. Mark's Cemetery, Austria.
So that's the summary. Hopefully it will add to our insight. Thank you very much for listening.